Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with Matt Murray.
All right.
James Farley.
Hello.
And Sean Bell.
All right.
I do apologise that we're a week late with this one. There was no show last week. Over to you, James.
Well, I don't know what you want me to say, because I feel terrible about it, and it was not my fault. And also, I did not forget to press record.
It was not my fault, he says.
No, I'm not saying it's not my fault. Obviously, it's my
fault.
You
did just say that.
Well, okay. It isn't my fault.
You just said it is not my fault.
Something went wrong, and I don't know what that was. We spent ages afterwards trying to recover it, and there was part of it. There was the part at the end. And
we'll get to that.
I know, but I did offer to re-record my parts. You know, like to listen back and then re-record it.
Yeah, because that wouldn't be a fucking nightmare to edit. Jesus Christ. Right, so basically, because we've had some Skype issues recently, you might have noticed that the sound quality on the last show was a little bit better than it was on the first couple. And what we've been doing is going back to the old way that we used to do Joypod way back when, and record our sides individually. So we finished the show. Sean put in the Computer Game Show WhatsApp group. I'm really happy with that. That was really good. We were all on a high, and then suddenly I realised that James's audio wasn't in, and I get a text message saying, I need some help. And I just thought, oh, what's happened? So we Skyped again, and James told me that none of his audio was there.
No, not true. Not none of it. Some of it.
Like the last 20 minutes or something.
The vast majority
stupid.
Wasn't there, but some of it was.
So let me take you through, because Sean and Matt wasn't aware of this phone call, because Sean was asleep dreaming of the amount of fans that he was going to get from that amazing podcast we put together, while I was texting Matt about the Skype call as it was going on in a fury rage. I was just redirect. I don't know if you picked up how angry I was. Was it?
Yeah, just a little bit. But, you know.
Jesus Christ. So what happened? He explained that there was a problem with the podcast. I say, okay, don't worry. First of all, you said there was sound waves coming in when I started recording. I don't believe that now. I'm at the point now where I don't believe that actually happened. Yeah. No, I think you might have seen some towards the end when it was actually recording, but definitely not at the start. Right. So the first question I asked, it was passive aggressive. I'll put my hands up to that. I said, "Did you do a test recording, James?" And his answer was, "No, but it was fine yesterday." And I thought, yeah, but it's not yesterday, is it, James? It's today, and now it's not fine, is it? So always do a test recording, right? That's standard. That's fucking standard when you're doing this system. Second thing that pissed me off, right? This, James, you cannot. I don't know how you're going to be able to answer this. We found a shit ton of backup files in a folder hidden away. There was a small, I'll admit, admittedly very, very small chance of retrieving something, getting something back together. But there was a chance there. And as we were looking, because I was screen sharing with James at the time, as I was looking at that folder, all of a sudden, everything disappeared. And I went, whoa, what the where have all those backup files gone? And James went, well, I closed Audacity. What? Why did you do that?
I can't believe that.
Okay, now
that's like someone.
That's
like someone, clearing their tracks. That's like someone trying to get evidence.
No. Okay, there's reasons for this, right? First of all, we had a ton of windows of Audacity open at the same time, right? And then I was just like, okay, I need to close a couple of these because I'm trying to work out which one I'm looking at. And I accidentally closed the last one. I didn't know that this shit program decides to just empty any temporary files when it closes. Why doesn't it keep them?
Why would it keep them around?
Why wouldn't you save the program?
Do you do with Audacity? You utter mental case. Literally, it's like, my the screen has cracked on my brand new iPhone. Oh, well, that's fine. You could just take it down the shop and get it repaired. Oh, I binned it. I just chucked it in the bin. Fuck it. No,
I didn't know that closing it was going to do that. No one told me that.
Mate, honestly, you're a nerd. I'm a nerd. I'm not, but we're nerds. We know that if you close a project file, most of the backups go away. Of course they do. The project is live. It's going to keep them around.
Unbelievable behaviour, frankly.
Jesus.
Why wouldn't you save that? If there's like a risk, there's a risk that you haven't saved anything, but save the project file just in case.
Oh no! I know. I did try and do that. I did try and save it, and it
was that before or after you closed
that?
Audacity?
No.
No, I had to come to his defence there because he did try and save it, but there was a problem with his disk space.
He tried to save it, but he'd already shut the computer down by that point. So I'll try and save it now.
You've got me nerves going now. If it's a disk space thing, can we, James, just check Audacity now? What does it say?
No. I've got 33 hours left of recording. It's nothing to do with disk space at all. Okay. I don't know what that was about. It's because I've been recording these for ages and no problem at all. I don't know what happened.
But you did have only 20 gigs of spare space on your disk.
That doesn't matter. You've still got 33 hours that you can record.
Yeah, but that's only if it's all focused on Audacity. There's other shit on your hard drive, right?
No, not for this.
Well, you've literally just got Audacity on your hard drive. That's it.
No, at the moment running this. Okay, genius. Tell me what is going to suddenly going to use? No, what is suddenly going to use? Say 15 gig of data while I'm recording this at this moment.
I don't know, James. I don't know. You're fucking moaning.
Or your dirty torrents.
The frequency is so high with you fucking moaning about fucking Nintendo that it takes up more hard drive space. I don't know. All I know is that we wasted fucking hours last week on an absolute banging show that no one's ever going to hear. So now, just to let you know, I'm forcing, and I will every time we start recording, force you to do a test record. Right, that's the first thing. Secondly, I'm running a backup. So if you're listening to this and the sound quality ain't great, James has fucked up again, all right? And you can tweet him and just let him know how angry you are and how bad your ears feel listening to the poor quality because James has fucked up again. Anyway, right?
Sue Mud.
The only other thing that made me laugh was the next morning, Sean texted me privately, and I said something like, "Have you caught up with, everything that happened in the WhatsApp group?" And he just replied, "There's a reason why I've been quiet." And that was that.
You know what? Sean being quiet scared me more than Dave's anger.
Yeah, I thought Sean was just driving down.
Yeah, so I didn't know what was happening in Sean's mind.
Do you know, I was too scared to ask. I've got nothing to contribute. It's shit, and I'm not going to moan about it because what's the point? I'm just keeping out.
Do you know what happened? The next morning, I did that thing where I woke up in the morning, and for a few brief seconds, everything was okay, and then I remembered what had happened, and I felt like it was terrible.
I wish I knew when you woke up because I would have just texted you the word cunt, like just to cut those few seconds short. You know what I mean? Just to make sure you knew. Sean, did you see any of the shit go down before you went to bed, like legitimately, or?
No, I think I saw it all the next morning. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So you had a whole evening of loveliness.
Yeah, I was going to just wake up to a newly released episode.
Anyway, that was the story from last week. So if you're wondering where we were and how off schedule we were, then that's what happened. James, it's all forgiven now. You're all right. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to bring it up at every opportunity.
I know you will.
But
I tell you what, though, I'm not disappointed that we didn't lose me having that breakdown last week because that was
incredible.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
It was so good. That was the best bit.
Can I just say, there was two things that I'm gutted that I've missed. That, because if you tell people what had happened, like it just completely loses it. It does make no sense and it doesn't translate. The other thing was I created a sign off for the podcast last week. Again, will not make any sense now. Like I can't do it anymore. What was it? It was something like, "Thank you for still living." Oh no, thank you for living
that was
it.
Great.
Thank you for living it. That was
thank you for living it. It was the new hello there.
What I was trying to say was thank you for listening, but it come out thank you for living it. So can't use that now.
But now, like those are the two bits that you can't honestly recreate them now. That's it. They're gone. Shame. Anyway, how you boys doing? All right. We're all excited for the new games that have been announced.
You have had a shave.
You have had a shave, haven't you? You look all right. It looks better.
I don't know. I just like. People get really proud about having beards these days, and I'm just like, do you know what? A beard's not a personality, and I've not been without a beard for like 3 years. So I just thought,
I know you hate popular things, but did it just teeter over
Maybe that's what it is.
popular.
And, it's
before
when
you
you
went,
go
"No,
to
fuck
like,
this."
I mean, I've not really been to any for a while. When you go to like games events, and everyone else is a bit overweight and they've got a beard and a check shirt, and you're just like, just fuck off, everyone. I am the uniform. Do you know what I mean?
Are you 30? You're 30, right?
31, mate.
31. Yeah, no, that's
I
about
mean,
right,
31.
isn't it?
It's beards and check shirts and trainers. It's a young man's game.
See,
Yeah, I know.
the thing is, Dave, that you didn't know is actually a couple of months ago I grew a beard, but I was too
yeah.
scared to show you because I knew that you were just.
Oh my God, James! What? Why didn't you tell us?
Because I knew
This is another great moment that
Oh
no
my-
one's going to be able to experience because of James Farley.
Oh
Because
my
just
God,
another
James!
moment.
Why? What? You must have taken a picture. You must have a picture
I
somewhere.
did, but you're not seeing it because
I'm talking to your wife about this.
I
after.
did it for about I don't know, it was about 3 months actually, and it was getting quite
Holy
good.
shit, that's a proper beard.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we got to see this because
But-
you've got such a baby face.
Thanks. That's
Come
that's
on,
nice.
James, share it. I'll put it on
No,
Instagram.
not now. But no, because the reason is because see, I work in like university, and everybody there has got beards. Like you can't move.
Even
for
the women.
beards. Yeah, pretty much. And you
James
just-
trying to fit in.
yeah, I was just thinking, I need a beard. I need to look more academic. I need a beard. And yeah, it wasn't going too badly, but then I don't know, my son really hates it and just kept crying. So it did.
Oh my God.
But then I'll tell you what was really annoying about that. I shaved it off, like after,
Yeah.
and it was quite painful to get rid of.
Yeah.
And then he just cried and said, "Where's your beard gone?" And I was like,
Brilliant.
"Oh,
Can't win."
You know, it's
Oh,
yeah.
Sort it out, boy. Look, I'm not judgmental, and please don't take this the wrong way, Sean. But when you did have a beard, I couldn't not look at the white patch under the nose.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it was
yeah,
like the
that's,
pure focal point, reverse Hitler. Do you know what I mean? It was just, it
yeah,
was
I've got that, and then my soul patch is white, and then there's like a couple of patches of white bits on the beard itself.
if you grew just that bit back,
Yeah.
would it be offensive? Because it's white.
I don't
Like,
think it's
and
the
Hitler's was
colour
black.
of the toothbrush moustache that makes it offensive. I think it's just the
Just the,
It's more
the
the
mad
man behind the
racist that had
crime.
it.
well, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, talking of wars. Hey, how about this? Professional.
It's the wrong war though.
There are 2 war games
Okay.
coming out. Hitler was in one of them. And
No, he wasn't. It's
No,
World
he
War
wasn't.
One.
It's World War One, you idiot.
Jesus Christ,
he
Dave.
fought in World War One.
Well, actually, he technically was. He was a corporal during that period, but you know. it's
Thank
different.
you. So, someone knows a little bit more history than Matty and Sean there. Yeah, no, so he was just a bit part. He was just like basically a cameo in World War One, and then
Yeah, here's a
they
support
sort of
act.
promoted him to the main
Yeah.
event. And,
Yeah, it gave
Warm
us
up.
some good ideas, you know. It's,
Jesus, James.
I hope you do lose this week's podcast because of that.
no, you know, liking war and all that kind of thing. What's wrong with that?
Okay, James.
So Battlefield
right.
1.
So it's the Battle of the War games. 2 games announced this week. Call of Duty Infinite. I think that was actually the week before.
Yeah.
Um,
It was a week we lost a podcast, Dave. I'm not sure if you remember.
Yeah, no, I've heard the tales, and the interestingly named Battlefield 1. I mean, if you're gonna nick something from Microsoft, it might as well be a name. Yeah, very different directions, very strange. A lot of hatred towards one and love towards the other. It would seem
I thought it
that's
was
what I'm
hatred,
getting.
yeah.
That's the vibe I'm getting, which I don't understand because the Infinite trailer looked brilliant. Like it looked genuinely exciting. But then they always do, don't they? And then the games come out and you just press. It was like when I saw the spaceship bit in Call of Duty Infinite, I knew that you wouldn't actually be like flying up and down left and right in that spaceship. You're probably just going to be pressing forward because every vehicle section in those games recently, that's all you've done. And it sort of just guides you along. It's really weird. But yeah, I mean, I think they both look really good. So I'm confused. I'm really interested to see what Battlefield does with World War One, because I mean, I'll be honest with you, when I sent you that link, when I sent you the photo, because the photo of the cover photo leaked way before the announcement, and I said, Matt, this is what the cover photo is supposed to be, and you went, oh yeah, World War One, and I went, thank God I didn't say, yeah, it looks like they're going to space as well. Like, because that's what it genuinely looked like to me. He had some spiky thing in his left hand and
What?
a cape.
You didn't think he was going to space with that picture, did you?
At first, look, I didn't look at it like properly. Like, I was so excited to send it
Where's
before
his
you did.
spacesuit?
But it was like, no, not as. He looked like a Destiny character, no?
He does. He's got that
Totally
cape.
looked
yeah.
like
and
a
everything.
Dest.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, okay. And then when you said World War One, I was like, what? And then when I like zoomed in to the actual photo, I was like, oh yeah, I see now. but seriously, a bit weird, isn't it? Like, how have they managed to do that?
I think it looks class. I mean, I saw both trailers. Obviously, Call of Duty Infinite looked like a Call of Duty game. I think maybe a lot of the hatred is it looks just more of the same, which isn't such a bad thing. But it wasn't tremendous. It's an exciting trailer, but because trailers are built to be exciting. But I'm not massively enthused about what the game's going to be. It'll be good, nothing more. But Battlefield 1, the trailer is absolutely class, and I'm really glad they're going back. But I mean, I don't know what World War I's could be like as a computer game. But I'm just excited that they're not doing another future
World War I computer game.
There was Verdun.
I know there's been, but I'm just trying to think.
Well, the thing is, there's not many because World War One was fucking miserable. I mean,
was.
Even as wars go, like it's
yeah. World War Two was a barrel of laughs, but World War One,
World War One was mostly just people hanging around in trenches and their feet literally falling off, and occasionally like getting up and running around and just shooting at nothing because no one actually wanted to be there or wanted to kill anyone.
Yeah, that was literally just that was the going over the top wall, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't the way it was just like, oh, okay, right now the next mission is to just go over there and die.
It's to try and survive with both feet. It's called Battlefield 1 Foot. That's what the game is. That's what the colon is.
Jesus. Yeah, weird. I'm excited though. I mean, it does look incredible and the stuff. I mean, the very brief amount of what was crazy is that there's like a half a second flash of what could possibly be in-game footage. Like there's one moment where you see down the sights and he puts these goggles on, right?
Yeah.
What's crazy is that I look at that and think, actually, yeah, they could easily achieve that, because when you look at Battlefront, that looks stunning, and there's no reason why they can't just translate, how good that game looks over to Battlefield 1, you know what I mean? So it was kind of like, hey, that's achievable. That might actually be in-game footage there. That'd be really interesting. And I mean, they've said like it's all in-game engine, but what that's it's basically bullshit.
See, I was really excited when I heard it was supposed to be World War One, because I thought like you said, there hasn't been that much stuff that's come out, from that period. But then when I heard about like how they said it's like a reimagining of like the thing, that kind of concerned me a bit, because I just think,
what does that mean?
I don't know. Well,
is it though, James? I've read loads of stuff about it, and
there was a huge
in a post-release
fuck off Zeppelin at the end of it. They weren't around like that. It's like there was that going on, and I mean, just the style of it didn't look like World War One to me, to be honest. Like when you seeing what's going on,
it looked a bit steampunk, didn't it?
Yeah, because that tank that I saw a bit. I've only seen a bit of the trailer, and there was definitely a tank in it, and the tank looked ridiculous. I don't know if it looked too cool to be a World War One tank.
Well, that's what kind of disturbed me a bit about it, because it was like the whole thing looked too cool, if you know what I mean, to like be like World War One. It was a bit, I don't know. I don't know why they couldn't, like, if they're going to do that, why not work within the limitations? Because I think that could be quite interesting.
Because I think there's a huge
boring
risk of it just being boring. Yeah.
Yeah, just so the war nerds don't get upset, I've just googled World War One tanks, and they're the tank. That is the tank from the trailer, as far as I can tell. So yeah, they had cool tanks in World War One.
They've done their research.
Yeah, they've really done the legwork on it.
It was developed for
World
War
War
One.
Yeah, weird. And of course, a lot of the scenes from both trailers come from the campaign, and these people that are all kicking off about them will also be the first to say no one gives a fuck about the campaign anyway when the reviews come out and they talk about the campaign. Do you know what I mean?
See, I don't get why people are so annoyed about like Infinite being like in space. Because
I think because everyone wanted a World War II or World War One game. Like, it was getting to that point where it was like, okay, these are James Bond games now. They're not army games. We want to go back to being in an army game. And then they saw the guy jumping into space. Like, and it was kind of like, what are you doing now? Why is this going this way?
So is this their Moonraker moment? It's like they're doing that.
I think it's a really interesting time now, because, I mean, how many games can you think of, like, outside of sports games, because I think, you can't do much with that, but how many sort of game series can you think of that have been going on for so long and have been so popular, like, year on year? It's getting to the point where they don't know where they're going with it.
Yeah.
So You know,
what
Battlefield.
What about Tony Hawk's? Yes.
Yeah, no. But it's like you look at Call of Duty, and I think they've just seen that as a natural progression from where they've been going. They've been getting, the Modern Warfare was the big jump for them, and then it started pushing towards getting a little bit further into the future. So you could see that they're just following on. It's not actually that imaginative when you think about it, that they're going, okay, let's put it a little bit further into the future, and now they're fighting in space. Whereas Battlefield is kind of like, hold on, we've done this cops and robbers thing, but that was kind of a side project, and now it's kind of like, can we really go back to just doing a Battlefield game?
I don't envy any of them. Like,
no,
having to, like, I mean, I'm sure some people working on Call of Duty or Battlefield is like a dream come true, but no, fuck that.
Especially the decision makers, because you've got to try and you've got to get the press and the general public on side, because that side of things will fade away once it becomes a staple and it's going over and over and over again. That side will fade away, so you've got to keep them interested. Meanwhile, you've got to keep the fans going. You know what I mean? And it's kind of a rock and a hard place. What can you do to keep both sides happy? Exactly. You want to generate the buzz on a wide scale, but you don't want to abandon your loyal customers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like, let's not forget, the fans are fucking idiots. They don't know what they want. Like, on the one hand, they want a trailer to be surprising and new, and then it's like, as soon as they actually start playing the game, it's like, especially when it comes to the multiplayer, because so many people know those games inside out, and then when a new one comes out and like things have been tweaked a bit, like, they're fucking screaming on YouTube about it and going nuts, and it's just like, mate, what do you want? Pick one.
Just let us know. I'd love to see like a what do you want survey and just see the complete ridiculously wide amount of ideas that just come through. We want to go to forward 2,000 years. No, we want to go backwards 2,000 years. What the fuck do you want? That's got to be a hard job.
It's going to be really interesting to hear about the development of this game. I'm talking about Battlefield 1, because obviously there wasn't a Battlefield last year. There wasn't a problem. Obviously the Hardline, when did that come out? January in 2015. So there wasn't really a proper Battlefield.
You had Battlefront, didn't you?
Yeah.
You had Battlefront.
Yeah, I also remember Hardline was a different team as well, wasn't it? So,
yeah, but they also didn't release a Battlefield game, and many people thought maybe it was because Battlefield 4, did so bad at launch and there's so many problems with it. But do you think they always planned to take a year off because they knew they were doing this World War One inspired game?
Definitely. I think the focus was Battlefront last year.
You reckon? Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the focus was on Battlefront. What's the point in bringing out a Battlefront game and a Battlefield game?
I guess there's no chance they could release two, but I mean, it's so interesting. It's going to be so interesting to see what a two year sort of lead time for this is going to do and the improvements it's going to make, as opposed to having a smash on out every year. And I know obviously Call of Duty, it changes between Treyarch and Infinity Ward or whoever's developing it, but it's going to be really interesting to see what 2 years does to a Battlefield game as opposed to doing it on an annual cycle.
Yeah, and I mean, there'll be those people that come out and say, well, Call of Duty should just take a year off. And every time people say that, I instantly want to punch my monitor. Like, that's the thing. Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, let's just drop this multi-million-pound business for a year. Fuck it. Why not? Because the next one might be better. You idiots. Right, okay, I think that's about enough because we've only seen a couple of teaser trailers and we haven't got much to go on. But I'm looking forward to both. I mean, I'll probably end up getting both towards Christmas and asking for them for Christmas and stuff like that. So yeah, it goes. James, you want to talk NX? Because we spoke about this last week, but nobody heard it for some reason. I can't remember.
Yeah, we're ashamed that. So yeah.
It's been pushed to next year. Well, what is this you've put now? Can I explain? We've got a Google Doc where we put stories that we want to talk about on the lead up to the podcast. Throughout the week, we drop little links. James's always seems to be rumours.
Yes. Also, everything you write, I've never heard of it before. Like a couple of weeks ago, it's like some Zelda rumour. This week's even more mental, frankly. I'm on Twitter. I've never heard of this rumour ever.
Should we go in chronological order?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. All right. So there's the NX stuff next year. We talked about that last week, which for some reason people didn't hear. And what did we talk about that? I don't remember. We just kind of agreed that it kind of made sense.
We just found out that so Nintendo weren't going to have the NX at E3 this year, and we're not seeing it. Well, it's going to come out in March 2017.
Haven't they just confirmed this week that actually, they said Zelda's going to be on the show floor, and now they're saying it's not?
Well, no. It's going to be on the show floor, but they're not having any show at E3 this year. Like, there's going to be no digital event or anything like that at all.
There is going to be a 24-hour Zelda stream.
But that's it.
That's it.
Nothing else.
Jesus, really?
So,
Fuck.
No Treehouse, no Direct. Clearly, no sort of E3 conference.
Nothing like that. It's basically they're going to show Zelda. That's it, and nothing else.
When's the next one planned? Have they announced it?
Nope, there's nothing.
They're going to drop something. There's no way they're that stupid. They're going to drop something.
They're just basically just going off the radar for like a year. It seems to be what they're
I think they're going to drop something either just before E3 or just after. They're going to there's no way that they're.
What do you think they're going to
drop?
drop? For them? They get like a press conference
video,
of their own.
This is the NX, like out of nowhere.
If they just showed us the console, I think that would be a huge. Like that would, well, assuming it's not shit. I think that would calm a lot of people down, but it is very odd how low key they are being. And
they don't need to.
They've got a booth, the same thing we said last time, didn't we? They've got a booth the same size as Sony and Microsoft's, and they're just showing Zelda there.
The only playable game they got is Zelda. It's mental.
But that massive booth was clearly because they were going to show the NX, and now they're not. And so now it's like, what do we do? What do we do? We just get loads of TVs down there. Stick Zelda on there, it'd be fine. No problem.
Get a Pokken tournament going, you'll be alright.
You'll go there. There'd just be new Super Mario Bros. U on hundreds of screens. You'd be like, oh, come on, man. There's, I think just to explain the conclusion we come to last week when we talked about NX being pushed to next year is that this is not what Nintendo wants to happen. This isn't a planned thing. There's no possible way that this is a planned thing. In terms of business, you want that fucking machine out before Christmas. That is a big deal. Mm-hmm. To push it back to March would mean that it's not ready. It's just not ready. Either that, or we were saying that it might not even be a hardware issue. It could be a software issue where they want to bring out, say, for example, this is totally made up in my head, where they say, right, we want 4 banging launch games. The Zelda, Mario game, a F-Zero game, and a Metroid game, for example. And one of those or 2 of those games aren't going to be ready for that time. They're thinking, hold on, if we wait, we can still... Because, that first impression is big. But then you weigh that up against Christmas sales. I don't know. I'm not Pacta, is what I'm saying. All I'm saying is that I find it very, very hard to believe that this was planned in any way whatsoever, especially with all the E3 stuff that's come out afterwards. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you've written something on my screen, James, that I have no idea what you're talking... The NX will be cartridge based.
Well, no, this is no. The rumours are that they're gonna abandon optical storage, and it's going to be using ROM cartridges instead. That's the rumour.
Which adds a bit of weight to this idea that it's a hybrid device, isn't it? Or at least that there will be a shared library between whatever the home console is and whatever the new handheld is.
Yeah. I would have just assumed that if that was a hybrid, then it'd all be downloaded and.
Presumably it'll do that as well. For God's sake, Nintendo, let us have a fucking SD card slot this time, or put more than 3p's worth of storage on it. Fucking yeah.
I don't know. You can with the new 3DS, you can put in up to 32 gig.
That's true. I was thinking more about the Wii U.
Oh, the Wii U, yeah.
With it, it's like, when it got to the point where so there's the Wii U Pro or whatever it was, the black one, and then there was a standard one. The standard one was going on sale for £2 or whatever, and people were like, oh, but isn't the black one got more storage? It's like, mate, neither of them have enough. Either way, you stick in a USB hard drive in it, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, that was it. I was in that situation where I had to pick between the what they called it, the
premium,
the premium and the basic. And when I looked at it, I was like, Jesus Christ, I'm gonna have to put some storage in anyway. So I've got a USB hard drive and just whack that in the top.
Exactly.
So I've just got the white one. Fine, works.
But when you consider, the black one adds 32 gig, and it's mate, you can get an SD card with that much on for a fucking 15 quid or whatever. Come on. I hope they sort that.
It makes sense though that they do this because, especially with the target audience being also kids as well. just having digital downloads is not probably such a good idea if you're doing that. You know, it's often easier for kids to like pick up games and stuff like that.
I mean,
rather than downloads.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because obviously the main reason console manufacturers have been keen not to go download only is because they don't want to upset retailers. But then, what's your local game store's Nintendo presence like as it is?
Yeah, but retail is, and not only that, retail is just fucking dying at the moment. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, there is that.
The only shops that are doing well in terms of video game sales are second-hand shops, and they're not getting any money from those anyway. I think the main problem is that, you know, they still want parents to buy. I think it affects Nintendo more than you think, because I think they still want parents to go out and buy their consoles, and there are still a generation of parents out there that are still a bit weird about buying things that big on the internet. You know what I mean?
True.
It's expensive. I should go and see it before I buy it. Do you know what I mean? Like that sort of attitude, and that won't die out too quick. So, it's a weird one, and I am now at a point where I'm thinking Nintendo are not stupid. They're not stupid. They've made mistakes. No, they have made mistakes. There's no doubt about that. But there's no way that they're. I think they've got something bubbling. I think
it's like they must.
We're going to wake up, and there's going to be a video online, and everyone's going to be like, "What the fuck? It's what?" And it's going to spread like wildfire. You know what I mean?
I think it could really go one of two ways. Either that, or it's going to be like, you know, there's going to be a lot of laughter. I think.
It's like whatever it is, like we're all gonna know pretty much immediately what Nintendo's future is.
Yeah,
yeah. Well, by Nintendo, that's weird. I was I'll get to that. Well, actually, I'll go straight on to what I've been playing this week, because I can actually tie it in with this, because I picked up a copy of Ratchet and Clank for the PS4,
nice one,
the new game that came out last week, and I've played. I'm about 60% of the way through. I sort of hammered it over the weekend, and it's just an insanely good looking game, like an absolutely gorgeous game, as you'd expect from who develops it? Is it Insomniac? Yeah, and they did. Am I right in thinking they did Sunset Overdrive?
Yep.
Yes.
Now those are two incredibly good looking next gen games, right? This one is It kind of holds it back a little bit after the first area. The first area is just jaw dropping, and I can't speak highly enough of it. But I just kind of think, man, if Nintendo had a machine that could cope with those sort of graphics, imagine what a Mario game would look like with this amount of power. Like, it makes me feel sick. You know, don't get me wrong. Mario games look incredible. Mario Kart is incredible looking on the Wii U, but imagine if it had that extra power and how far it could go. You know, if they had that amount of power in that box, it just blows my mind. Because that's the thing with Ratchet and Clank. It's a really fun game to play. It's really good to look at. It's just missing a bit of charm, I think. You know, some of the gags that are in it are not actually funny enough. Some of the cutscenes are a little bit weak, which is worrying, because apparently this game is full of cutscenes from the actual movie, and I haven't seen one. Yeah, and I haven't seen one that I could think, actually, that looks like a bit of a movie. It's mainly been characters talking to each other in a gameplay way, and if I've seen a cutscene from a movie there, I'm actually quite shocked, because that film is going to be dog shit. Because the lines have been a bit crap. The voice acting's not, perfect. Ratchet's pretty good, but the others are a bit crap. And the animation's not been out of this world. For like a full feature movie. So a bit of a weird one that. But I mean, if you want to go back and play a 3D platformer again with a bit of shooting in it, then I totally recommend it. It's a lot of fun. Harry loves it. That helps. Although it is a bit scary. Like, I'm quite surprised how scary it is. Like, this isn't a proper, little kids game. This is, I think it's rated 7. So, and I can see why, because there's a bit where I was running along some sand, and these sand sharks come out, like sharks with big teeth, and they're all coming towards you. And Harry was a bit like, "Whoa, hold on, I ain't that cool with this yet. So, hold on, Dave.
He does call you Dave as well.
He does, yeah. He did that whole week we were away, man. It's fucking
Dave. It's very
Dave.
strange.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I could see why it got so much praise, but I do kind of think, if anything, it just tells me yet again how good Nintendo are at doing this stuff. Which is probably criticizing it a little bit too hard, because this is Nintendo's forte, doing games like this. Ratchet and Clank is still a very, very solid game. It's just I can't get that niggle from the back of my head just thinking, Nintendo, man, get some power into your machine, because you could create some of the most beautiful things this world has ever seen, which is pathetic because it's all graphics and stuff, but I don't know, it means a lot more than you think.
Back on the NX thing, okay, can we have a bit of a prediction? Do you guys think that the new NX will be at the same power as the PS4 or Xbox, or far more powerful, or far behind it?
I think it's going to be another sort of half step, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's going to be
like a disappointing thing.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit more powerful, enough that now we go, oh, okay, and then when the PS5 comes out or whatever, we're like, oh, right, okay, that's how things actually are going to look going forwards.
That's what I think. I think maybe it will be as powerful as, say, an Xbox One. However, the gimmick that's inevitably going to be with it is going to reduce how much the processor can actually spend on games and stuff. Yeah,
like Kinect.
Like Kinect, which you can unplug, James, these days.
Yeah.
Just whack it off, son. Yeah, so that's what I've been playing, Ratchet and Clank. I would probably wait until it's a little bit cheaper, although it is quite cheap at the moment anyway. It's not a full price game, I don't think. I've seen. I mean, I got it for $30, so it's not a big boy. But yeah, I mean, it'll come. It's certainly better than Knack, and I quite enjoyed Knack. It does this thing. I don't know this. I've not played much Ratchet and Clank games. I played a crack in time, but I don't remember much about it. It does this thing where you can smack an enemy and they break into loads of pieces, and then they all fly towards you. I mean, that's what Knack did, but this does it well. It just looks incredible when you're walking through an area after killing loads of enemies, and there's just all these particles coming towards the character. It just looks really good. And some of the weapons, obviously, the game's famous for them. I don't know if these have been used before, but there's a disco ball that you can fire at enemies, and it creates a little dance floor, and all the enemies just start dancing, so you've got a chance to attack them without them hitting you back. There's a pixelator gun that turns everything into a retro-looking enemy, as opposed to, and then you can just smash them to pieces, stuff like that. All very good. I like all that stuff. It's just a shame it's lacking that little bit of charm to be an absolute banger. But yeah, I'll finish it definitely. James, you've been playing an actual Nintendo game, right?
I've, yeah. Speaking of amazing graphics, I've been playing Star Fox Zero.
Okay.
How does it look?
I'll get to that. It's I mean, the thing is with this is you see, I got this last Monday. And the funny thing about this was, I said to Matt, I just got Star Fox, and he said, "Can you finish it before we record?" And actually, that was pretty accurate, because I finished the main game in just over 4 hours. It's done.
It's that weird Star Fox thing, though, isn't it? Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's got this whole thing of repeating missions and doing things slightly differently and unlocking new routes and.
Yeah, I mean, I had a look at what was available after I'd gone through the main campaign, and basically it seems to be basically what you've done, again, in the sense of content, in the sense of there's that amount of content again. And I did start to sort of go back and think, okay, maybe I'll unlock some of these other routes, because maybe it'd be more interesting. But it's just weird, because I mean, it seems online people either seem to love or really hate this, but mostly hate it. But it's not that bad, to be honest. It's really not that bad. It's really short. But the dual control scheme thing is actually kind of okay. It's I don't really understand why people are making such a fuss about that, because it's far beyond being uncontrollable. It takes a few minutes to work it out, but it's not really that confusing at all.
What is the dual control scheme?
Well, what it is that you can also look down at the control pad, the massive gamepad, and you can see sort of first person view, cockpit view, while you're flying. So this means that you can control your movement, but also you can sort of more accurately fire at stuff. Yeah, this is kind of the idea. In most missions, I didn't really feel the need to actually use it. I could just found that you could just, play it, as you would a normal Star Fox game. But in some, like, especially towards the end of the game, you have to do it. Otherwise, you haven't got a chance of, like, finishing it. But it's not that bad. I mean, it's really not as bad as people say. I mean, I read, like, the Polygon review with that guy. Yeah, he said that.
Wait, he just went, "Oh fuck it, I ain't reviewing it."
It's not a review because we haven't put a score on the end, which means I'm okay not finishing the game before writing. Oh, fuck off.
The worst thing about that was where he was like, "The game gives me a sense of existential dread." That's just pathetic, to be honest.
Yeah, I hate it when people do that. It's like, no, that's just not true, mate. Just stop. Like, I sometimes feel that, like, Charlie Brooker's to blame for stuff like that, but that's more among British writers, whereas this
Oh, God, mate, I'm so with you there, but, like, Charlie Brooker's not really to blame. Charlie Brooker is brilliant at what he does, genuinely brilliant at what he does. It's the people that think, I'm going to be like Charlie Brooker. And you're like, mate, no, no, you don't get it.
Yeah, see Yahtzee and then all of YouTube.
Anyway, so... The thing is it's really not the disaster that people are making it out to be. Like, it's really not. It's just not a very great game, is the biggest problem. I mean, see, the biggest disappointment for me is that the game, it really is just a complete remake of the N64 version, which itself was a remake of the Super NES version. Like, it's everything, like, the story is identical. Okay, that doesn't matter. But the levels are also pretty much identical as well. And it just feels really lazy. I mean, it still is really fun to shoot stuff in space, but you could do exactly the same thing in Star Fox 64 without these, like, slightly weird controls. And I mean, the other thing is, like, graphically, like as you said, it's not really very impressive either. And there's also loads of slowdown as well. There's certain levels I've been on. There's been like quite a bit of slowdown, and also quite a lot of pop in as well. Is the other thing that happens. But
pop in. Remember that?
Exactly.
If just this was it, like this was the first sign of the fucking wheels coming off.
Well, this is what's worrying, isn't it?
Because new Zelda comes out and it's just not that good.
Because imagine that.
I mean, this just feels like a big waste, because it's like, this is like basically, okay, forget about Zelda, but like really like one of the last games that the Wii U's probably going to get, like first party. And I mean, it's not the fact that people have moved on from playing this kind of game. It's the fact that they've just remade the same game again. And it's just, it really would be like if they like released Super Mario Brothers, like a new one, and it was exactly the same, like even the level design was identical, just with nicer graphics. I mean, I don't think people would be that happy with that. I don't see why they couldn't have, just run with this and gone, tried something a bit different with it. And
I suppose the new controls and that. I tell you what, you said something about, I don't know why people are complaining about the new controls, and I don't think there's many people. I think the majority of the opinions that I've read about the game is that actually the new controls work, but the concern, like for me, I wanted this game. I wanted this game until I realised you couldn't turn the motion controls off.
Oh, you can.
And the reason you can't.
You can.
You definitely can.
Yeah, you can.
But there's like a couple of bits where it's forced or something. That was what I'd heard.
I think maybe right at the end, maybe there's a bit like that. But generally, you can turn them off. You don't have to use it.
I trust John Denton, and he told me that there is no way of playing the game without motion controls. Basically, here's the thing: I play games with the control pad in my hands, in my lap, or just with my arms. I don't want to lift my arms. That is a ridiculous thing to say. I get that. I get how lazy that sounds. I just don't want to lift my arms.
That is exercise, bruv.
I have enough exercise carrying around a little pecker all day. Do you know what I mean? Not penis.
Gonna say.
I know something.
I just assumed
calling my son a
turned, didn't it?
But it's the I don't want to fucking lift my hands up. Just leave me alone and let me play it. Let me feel all my thumbs and that. So yeah, that's what put me off basically, which I know is pathetic, but there we go. I'm a pathetic human being. Deal with it.
But it's just a shame because it's not even. Like, I don't know, I wouldn't want to pay more than like 20 quid for this, to be honest. It's not that good. But it's also not terrible. It's just, it exists. It's not, I don't know.
Imagine the truth being somewhere between all the shit you read on the internet.
Yeah, basically, yeah. That is basically it. Yeah.
Weird. Okay, well that's disappointing because I think we wanted to start new Star Fox games for years, but there you go. Sean, you've been playing a game that I've also been playing over the weekend. We have slightly different opinions on it, I believe. Overwatch.
So I think it's fucking amazing. Are you not keen?
I wouldn't say not keen. I liked what I played, and I have not played enough to form a proper opinion on it.
Mm-hmm.
It does a lot of things that pisses me off.
Go on.
I'm gonna do the annoying thing of comparing it to Rainbow Six Siege, as I always do. I'll tell you why. Both of those games have specific characters that you choose with different abilities. When I play Rainbow Six Siege, I can see clear I can see this character trumps this, but it's trumped by this, which is trumped by that, but you can counter that by doing this and this. You can see the tree, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With this, it's kind of like, pick a character, and then someone's going to fucking kill you. And there seems to be characters that seem a little overpowered compared to others. I've had a few characters where I'm kind of like, what is this gun even doing? I don't, why is it spitting in a grenade at a really slow pace? And there's one, for example, right? There's a character. He's an offensive character. He's not just rude. I mean, he's an attacking character.
Runs around shouting racial slurs.
Yeah. And his gun fires little grenades.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, okay, that must mean that the grenades are really powerful, but you've got to be bang on. And once they hit a character, they explode. But I fired them at characters and they just bounced around for a bit, and then the character ran off, and then they explode. And I'm kind of like, what is the point in this? And then all of a sudden, a machine gun monster killed me.
There must be a trick to it. I'm not sure which character that is. But
it was. He looked like an alien, I think, kind of tall guy. I don't know, little fella. There's too many of them. There are a couple of characters that I do like. I like the one that gets in the mech suit.
Yeah.
And then
she's my main.
She has she's pretty good. And the one with the hook.
Oh yeah.
There's where you can climb up to higher levels and stuff. And it has nice moments to it that I thought, hold on, I can get into this. But then there are moments like I will never understand why the round starts like this. So there's two sort of holding areas for characters, right? One set of characters get let out and they get prepared, or whatever. The other ones are held in for a minute, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're not actually doing anything for that minute. You're literally just standing there and doing the emotes and stuff.
Emotes, yeah.
And then all of a sudden the doors open. But the problem is everyone is just pointing their guns to the doors because they've made it to your spawn location. Once the doors open, that's it. You're fucked. It's like, what? Why? Why has that happened?
The map design's not perfect. There's a couple of bits like that. I mean, it generally, you can break out. There's normally ways of doing it. Usually, there's sort of too many exits from your spawn for the enemy to cover in one go. But yeah, that is odd. I think that I've never really understood that. I know quite a few shooters do it, especially these sort of team-based, class-based ones. I've never fully understood the reasoning behind it. I know, obviously, in games where it's one team's attacking, one's defending, it's so as you say, it's so the defending team can sort of get entrenched and set up turrets and stuff. But often people just run all the way to the attacker's spawn and sort of try and hold them there.
Which is the situation with Rainbow Six, but you can't leave the house. So the defenders can't leave the house.
Okay.
And the attackers all come from outside. So, and there's, various different spawn points that you could come from. So it's it makes so much more sense. I don't... It's a ridiculous thing to compare it to, really, but there you go. That's my life.
No, I mean, at the end of the day, if you feel you've already got a team-based shooter in your life that doesn't need replacing, then of course Overwatch has got to do more for you than it has for me, because I never got into Rainbow Six Siege because no fucker will play it with me on the PS4, will he, Dave?
Have you got it on PS4? I thought you said you had it on PC.
No,
I've got it on Xbox One. Sorry.
Yeah. So I love Overwatch. I think.
Tell me what I'm missing, Sean. What am I not clicking with at the moment?
So, I mean, the thing with like you say, the relationships between all the characters and stuff, and not understanding what fits with what and what counters what. I haven't fully got my head around that yet, but I'm enjoying sussing it out, and the game does do a bit to help you with that. Whereas, like a lot of games of this type, it's just you're expected to just fucking learn it somehow through dying a lot or looking at videos on YouTube or whatever. Whereas this game actually makes the effort of every time you get killed by a certain character, it gives you a little tip about what maybe you could have done differently or what that character's weaknesses are. They're not always helpful. Sometimes you just get shit like move erratically to avoid getting shot. Thanks game.
Shoot, aim for the head.
Yeah, whereas sometimes it'll be like, this character's abilities all work when he's like aiming at the ground or whatever, so don't let him, trying to get above him, or this character's like Tracer, which seems to be the most popular character. She's fucking overpowered. Just because in a game where you're supposed to have like a balanced team of all different classes and stuff, I've played a game against 4 Tracers and they were fucking unstoppable. Tracer's thing is that she can dash forward, but she can also like rewind time like for the last 3 seconds.
Oh
so,
I used to.
Yeah, so that's like, so when you're fighting against her, it's all about sort of watching where she dashes to, but also memorizing where she's been, because at any point she could just like rewind to. That gets really interesting.
But that game is so erratic that actually doing that is almost impossible, right?
I don't know. You can manage it. Like obviously, a good Tracer player is just fucking infuriating. It's like trying to swat a fly or something. It's awful. But yeah, when you do get the better of her, it's proper good. And again, like all the other characters, like say, certainly there are characters that you pick them just out of curiosity, and then you're like, oh, why can't I shoot anyone? What's going on?
Yeah.
But that's, again, you tap left on the D-pad and it just gives you this brief explanation of what all the abilities do. It won't initially be clear how you're supposed to go about using them in the best way possible, but it always has that initial guide for you. And I quite like the fact that I can pick a character and just have no clue what it's for. I think that speaks to how interesting and original a lot of the characters' abilities are, compared to something like Battleborn, which I hope everyone hasn't already bought, because it's fucking embarrassing compared to Overwatch. Like Battleborn, just all the characters' abilities just seemed really boring, and like Overwatch does such a smart job of informing you of what's going on in the middle of a match, whereas I mean it's shit that I'm just comparing it to Battleborn, because Battleborn's just a bad game, and to sort of lift up Overwatch just because it's not shit is not on, but does make you appreciate the stuff that Overwatch does. Just things like really basic stuff, like if like abilities that cause explosions or big fucking orbs going everywhere or whatever. If they're from the enemy team, they're a different color. It's like, right, of course. Whereas Battleborn, there's just fucking explosions going off everywhere, and you've no idea where you're supposed to be standing because you can't see the flow of the battle. Whereas with Overwatch, you can. Overwatch does lots of really smart things with like audio cues as well. Like it has this MOBA style thing of when you've racked up a certain number of kills or a certain amount of time has passed, you get like is it ultimate or ultra ability. Begins with a U. And they're usually incredibly deadly and can like clear a room in one go or whatever. When an enemy uses one of those, like even if you're quite away from them, you hear the call out really clearly. Like it's usually a character making some shit quip or something. And they do get a bit irritating, but the whole point is that it's always informing. Like, so that, it always makes sure these things are really loud and clear, because if you're several rooms away, you're like, right, well, I'm not fucking going anywhere near that place then until I know that's worn off. Whereas again, Battleborn just shit's happening constantly, and you play Battleborn and you get really confused and pissed off, and you sort of think, well, maybe this is just on me to learn it. And then you play Overwatch, and it's like, no, it's on the game to help show me these things and help me understand it. Because that is a lot more fun.
Yeah, I suppose I should be. I mean, like Rainbow Six is actually genuinely really good at telling you what to do, and they've got like little single player missions there that introduce you to character abilities and how to use them, and stuff like that. But there's still a lot of sort of high level stuff that it doesn't tell you, and that I had to watch a tutorial video for to see tips and stuff like that. And maybe I should do that with Overwatch. How long's the beta? Is the beta stopped now?
It's tomorrow at 6:00, I think, which obviously will be yesterday at 6:00 by the time most people listen to this. So
yeah, ended.
But it's just like it takes away all the things, or a lot of the things that piss me off about shooters. Like, unless you seek it out, you will not see a kill to death ratio. You will not see how many times he died.
Deaths aren't that important in this. Like, kills aren't that important in this, are they? Really, it's all about
I mean, they are, but they're not. Yeah, they're not the be all and end all. It's a bit more like Battlefield in that you're also rated on how much you healed and how much you helped your team out. And supported them.
Yeah, but like
the
healers.
Sorry, go on.
If a healing class character comes up against an offensive character, then they've really got no chance because their guns are so shit.
Yeah, but then if you're a healing character, then you shouldn't be going off on your own anyway.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying that kills really aren't that important.
Right, yeah,
That's why they're not at the forefront, because they want people to still be using the healing characters and stuff like that.
Yeah, sure.
I will say this about the game. That game mode where you're pushing the payload, which is essentially a car on rails, is really good. Like, I really like that game mode.
I'm surprised that more games haven't nicked that, because that was... I don't know if it was Team Fortress 2 that did it first. That was certainly where most people remember it from, I think. And then not many other games have nicked it. I know Splatoon has a similar mode, and it's proper good in that.
There was it was kind of in Battlefield Hardline where you would, that had a really good game mode where you had to steal a car and you had to keep the car going at a certain speed.
Right.
And once you hit that speed, your points would go up. Right. And obviously the other team had to, but the car was like pretty flimsy, so it could be blown up pretty quickly and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. But on this, if you've not played it, it's there's this sort of car on rails at the start of the map, and the team that are attacking have to stay as close to the car as possible. When they're by the car starts moving forward. They've got a timer, and they need to make the next checkpoint before the timer runs out. If they hit the checkpoint, timer resets, and you keep going. The defending team, who are stopping them from getting near the car, they can push it backwards slightly as well, but it takes, it's very, very slowly moving backwards, like compared to the speed it moves when it's going forward. So there's kind of this constant battle there, and we've had moments where it's like inches away from a checkpoint or the end, and you're just thinking, just get there, like just get to the car, and we've won. But the defending team have sort of dug their heels in and said, no, you're not even getting into this fucking room there, let alone anywhere near the car. That was good. That was genuinely good, and I could see myself getting into that. But I don't know. There's just something that hasn't clicked with me yet. And I suppose that's happened with other games before. So, I can't, as I say, I haven't played enough to properly judge it.
I've
only
like I say, it's like when it comes to online shooters, like it is kind of not a personal thing, but like, you mean, like you pick your favourite, and then that's kind of, for something to then supplant that and take over, it has to be something really special. So, like, I didn't, I played fuck all apart from Destiny for about 6 months. So, other good games came out, but it was like, I've got Destiny. So, whatever.
We got a really interesting question sent in on Twitter by what's that? Alabaster Mage?
Alabaster Mage.
That's the fella. Do you think Overwatch will do as well on console as it will on PC? Do you think it has the same staying power on consoles?
It's an interesting question because, like, it's a Blizzard game. They generally don't bother with consoles. So it, like, in my head, certainly, they're a PC developer. But whether anyone else knows or even cares about that, I've no idea. I think it'll certainly do all right.
It's against the norm of the popular console, PS4, Xbox One owners. They play shooters like Battlefield and Titanfall and Call of Duty. I suppose Destiny's a little bit of an exception to the rule because that is a little bit more brighter and a bit cartoony in places, I suppose. But this is like all out cartoony looking, so it's kind of going to be a hard push for that market.
And like, if they were hoping it was going to appeal to the Destiny audience, they're probably barking up the wrong tree because obviously it doesn't have that pervading MMO stuff. Like, it is just a pure team-based shooter.
It has some cool loot crate stuff. You could tell that they've Blizzard know how to drop loot. in their games, because when you do enough to level up and unlock a loot crate, it goes into your menu. So you back out, go to your loot crate, and it says, hold down X to unlock, and see what you've got in this loot crate. And it's sort of like the pad sort of rumbles, and the rumble gets a little bit quicker as you're opening up. It feels like really satisfying to pop one of those things open, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it does that thing where all the loot you can unlock is basically it's different skins for your characters, different voice. I don't know if they're just little emotes or if they're whole sets of
Yeah, they're just kind of she'll say the odd odd phrase every now and then type thing.
They're all just little tat like that, basically. There's different rarity to them, so some are more rare than others. So when you open the box, it does the thing where all the different rarities are color coded, same as in any MMO. And you open the box and it chucks all these items in the air, but all you see they're just these coins, but they're all different colors. So you'll see them all flip in the air and be like, "Fuck, one of them's a purple, one's a purple, and then they land on the ground and you see what they actually are." But yeah, it's this nice sort of steady build up and reveal, and
I like that. I like that stuff. But it's weird talking about it now makes me like it a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think I was a little bit more negative after. I think it was just because I played with Chris Span. I think that's probably the reason why I hated it.
Doesn't help.
No.
Well, another thing I've liked is that, as you say, some of the characters just seem unfathomable. But then, certain characters, I couldn't figure out what to do with them. Some of my mates absolutely love, Mercy, who's the main healing character, one of the main healing characters. And I was just like, this is wank. Obviously, I accept that I can't really kill people, but I also not really sure how to go about healing them either. She's one of Chris's mains and a couple of other people I know as well. So
I'll tell you two things. I'll tell you a couple of things. First of all, what concerns me about the whole character some being overpowered thing was that I was getting killed a lot by the same character by different players.
Was it Bastion by any chance?
I think it was.
The robot lad.
It was Bastion.
Who becomes a little tank.
Yeah.
He's a fucker.
Yeah. And I just kind of think, come on. But yeah, as you say, there might be a counter to that. I don't know.
You can outsmart him. It's got that sort of Battlefield thing of sometimes realizing that something just isn't your job. Certain situations will arise, and it's maybe I'm not just supposed to stand up and start shooting. Maybe I'm supposed to just fuck off and wait for someone else who's more suited to the situation.
I would have also liked it a little bit more if they'd have adopted the Rainbow Six idea of you pick one character, no one else can pick that character.
Yeah.
Just to chop it up a little bit more, because I have come across teams that just all play as the same character, and you just kind of think,
you get that, and you get people who, even though the game actually goes out of its way to advise you on what your team is lacking, or if it's or if people have picked the same character, it's mate, you got too many attackers, sort that out. People just don't fucking listen. People just want to play their character. And it's I do think they should be forced to experiment.
Which brings me to my final point. This is how big are the teams in this?
6v6, I think.
6v6. Again, I know I keep comparing it to Rainbow Six, but that's my only point of reference with this sort of attack defense based first person shooter. The game will be insanely more enjoyable when you're playing with 5 mates.
Oh yeah.
Other than strangers, because then that's when you're not going to see the, people just ignoring the fact that you need a support character or so on. That you might actually get some tactics going, and hopefully, I'd like to see what that's like, because, if the game works as it should, then a team of 6 friends that are all chatting should have no problem absolutely tearing teams apart. Do you know what I mean?
We have had
the communication.
Yeah, we've had games where we're trying to take an objective or whatever, and the enemy's dug in, and we're just sort of running in one by one and fucking up and dying repeatedly, and then it's right, hang on, what have we all seen? Right, this guy's hiding up here. I'll sneak around the back, take him out. You do this, and it works. So that is amazing.
Yeah.
So, Sean, do you think this is going to be your go-to game when it comes out? This will be the thing you play for weeks and months?
I do think it's going to be a mainstay for a while, yeah. It'd be interesting to see how Blizzard support it. They're certainly very good at doing that, with because all their games are sort of these really long-tail online things. So I think this is going to be a continually evolving thing for some time, which is exciting.
Awesome. I've only did like the training session and one bot match where I'm going to play after this podcast. But for what I played, it felt like a really solid game. Yeah.
Might have to jump on with you, Matthew.
Yeah, let's do it.
While James is spending his evening trying to retrieve some audio.
While James is closing down Audacity and not saving project files.
Matt, I cannot believe I've left you to last. When I was thinking this show in my head this week, I thought obviously we'll start with Matt because huge news. You you hosted possibly the best thing I've ever seen on the internet last night. The last night of the Uncharted Challenge. You completed Uncharted 3. The game comes out tomorrow, so congratulations. I think that deserves a bit of a round of applause.
Thank you.
It's just me. No one else is joining in.
I think technically when this podcast is out, it actually came out yesterday.
Oh, whatever. I don't care. So for those that haven't seen it, go to our YouTube channel, which is Computer Show or whatever, and find Matt's latest Uncharted stream, because what was amazing, there's some stuff that I haven't told you about this, Sean. When the stream started, I was there from the start. Matt turned up in a suit, right? Which was funny enough. He obviously had this whole intro planned, but he didn't realise that his mic was on mute, so it was just a man in a suit sort of yabbering away, and no one be able to overhear.
It's easily done.
So that was beautiful, but you will never beat the moment when you finished the third game and you were handed flowers. There were balloons coming from the ceiling. You had a party hat on and one of those party blower things. Honestly, I was belly laughing. I was belly laughing in my front room. You absolutely smashed it.
Yeah, it's good. I had box fizz, of course. I drank the whole bottle. I had a bit of a hangover this morning, but yeah. I was so excited about the intro. I've been planning it. I've been writing it for weeks, and then I was on mute, and then I was all like a fluster when I had to unmute, and then I was like, oh bollocks! I've already started the game now, and yeah, the intro. I was planning to get that really focused. I was watching some older episodes in the lead up to say, okay, well, I wasn't so good then, I can make a really good intro, and then I was on mute, for Christ's sake, but whatever. But yeah, it is a really fantastic stream. I mean, I've been loving this streaming, and I'm sure we'll get onto that in a minute, but yeah, I thought last episode was good. I was happy at how it went. I made a few mistakes, but I'm still learning. It was
brilliant to watch. I love the bit, you were very close to the end, and you'd like done this massive bit, and then you jumped off a cliff.
I've done that a lot.
It was literally the last jump in the game, you know what I mean? It was just the bit he'd done beating the boss at the end, and he just had to jump from one ledge to another, and he just jumped off of the screen. It was like, fucking hell.
That will happen.
I didn't even know you could die at that bit. So Uncharted 3 done. What did you make of Uncharted 3? And what did you make of the series? Like, where would you put these games in your sort of, I don't know, league?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously we recorded a great podcast last week, which we lost, and on that I talked about Uncharted 2 because I'd actually obviously finished playing that, and Uncharted 2 was a fantastic game. I think it felt timeless to me. It was still, I mean, again, obviously I didn't play this back in 2009, but even now, you know, 6-7 years later, it was still fantastic to play. The set pieces were brilliant. There were a couple of dodgy moments towards the end with the enemies and whatnot, but and the final boss wasn't spectacular. But overall, I thought Uncharted 2 is still fantastic. And if anyone's listening and haven't played it, I'd urge you to play it. It didn't feel like an old game whatsoever. It still felt class. Then I started playing Uncharted 3, and I wanted to basically kill myself. Uncharted 3 was utterly terrible. For so much of the game, it is just awful. I was on a boat for like an hour and a half in the game, and it's just bad enemy after bad enemy. Oh, stealth sequence after stealth sequence. It was terrible. I was so close to quitting. I said this to you last night, or maybe 3 times.
You don't look very experienced with the cover shooter genre. I mean, the amount of times I was like, Matt, you're one bullet away from death, and you're still popping your head over the cover there. What are you doing? Or sometimes you just walked out and went, well, fuck it, I'll have a little walkabout now. No. And I'm thinking, Matt, it's a cover shooter. It's called a cover shooter for a reason. Stay behind cover, you mug. Like, what are you playing at?
I just feel like I can just pop one more bullet off and finish this guy off, and turns out that's not the case. But but Uncharted 3 was a huge disappointment. Obviously, I haven't played the games before. That was the whole point of catching up the series we did. But I knew Uncharted 1 was obviously the oldest game. People said it was okay. It wasn't great. Uncharted 2, I knew Evan said it was amazing. Uncharted 3, I thought Evan said it's a really great game. It doesn't quite match up to 2, but to me, it pales in comparison even to the first game. It has great parts. Graphically, it's fantastic. Dialogue is amazing. Characters are really, really well written too, but some bits of it is just, they're so frustrating. I spent most of that game, or most of the streams when I was playing that game, just frustrated. And maybe because the time limit is starting to catch up to me, and I thought I'd have loads of time, but actually it turns out I'd completed it on the last possible evening. So it was a bit tighter than I thought. So maybe it's a bit of that. Maybe I was getting a bit tired of playing Uncharted every single night for like 2-3 weeks. But Uncharted 3 is a bit massive disappointment, really.
I did notice that there was a shitload more enemies in 3 than I'd seen on the other games on your stream. I was like, wow, this is a never-ending amount of people. That boat section that you mentioned in Uncharted 3, that was the bit that I was talking about that feels as though that there was supposed to be a lot more around it. Because, like, why were you on the boat? Like, and who were these guys shooting you? Because they weren't part of the original crew that was after you, because you were after that bit of
it just wasn't fun
or whatever.
It just wasn't fun at all. The
bit where like the boat starts sinking and all the water effects and stuff, that was good. Like, you could see why they left that in there. Like, it looked amazing.
Although there were still a couple of moments in that which was still frustrating. Like when the way you're being chased by the wave, and I was just getting thrown to the side of the building or side of the boat, and I didn't know where to go. And again, this could all just be because I'm rubbish at games, which anyone who's watched the streams over the last 2-3 weeks can absolutely attest to.
Oh, it was hilarious. There's the amount of jumps that you just the amount of times like where you'd be like working out of a puzzle or whatever, and you'd just be like, right, I need to go down there now, and you're just thinking, no, Matt, that's a little bit far, and then you just watch, Nathan Drake just sort of crumble to the floor. Like,
yeah, I mean, there's so many times I thought, can I make this jump? I can't make this, guys. I'm sorry, I cannot.
What's brilliant is that
cannot make that jump.
What's brilliant is that John Denton finished Dark Souls and started Dark Souls 2, he's been streaming at the same time.
He's competing.
Like flicking between the two streams is hilarious, because Dark Souls obviously notoriously hard.
Has he played? Well, you say that, Dave.
AAA game that is pretty straightforward, and Matt was dying a lot more than John was. I'll tell you that.
I mean, the funny thing about this, Dave, is I spoke to John. Talked to him most days. I spoke to him about Uncharted 3. John actually didn't finish Uncharted 3, so because he said it was too hard. I mean, okay, he may not say it's too hard, but he didn't finish Uncharted 3. One of us has. This guy with the thumbs, I'm pointing to myself right now. I think this is the real Dark Souls in many ways.
Yeah, but he just said it's shit. He just said Uncharted 3 was shit.
Shit, too hard. I don't know. Couldn't hack it. I mean, it's a tough game. I mean, I was only playing it on normal. I can't imagine what it would be like on brutal or whatever the name of the toughest difficult is.
So what order would you put them in? Best to worst?
I would say best is 2, second best is 1, and the difference between 2 and 1 isn't actually that much. I think 1 is actually a really solid game. It's let down towards the end with like the silly mutants and stuff, and it doesn't have the same sort of level of quality of the dialogue and the characters and stuff as 2.
Or the imagination, like the puzzles were still pretty
pretty basic.
Whereas...
But for me, 2 is the best. 1 was close second, and 3rd is off the chart bad.
Jesus. I mean, I didn't hate it as much as you did. I actually quite enjoyed 3, but there was, it was clearly a step down in quality over 2.
It's a shame because they did have some hilarious moments, mostly when it's just before the boat section started, and I jumped on this pole I had to grab onto, and suddenly the graphics decided to disappear, and I could see like shitloads of enemies like floating in the level beneath because the boat disappeared. And that's definitely a highlight of the stream, just the graphics not appearing.
There was another bug in 2, wasn't there?
Yeah,
I think this was just basically in the Uncharted collection rather than the games themselves, because I don't remember.
Yeah, the other bug was super weird. So I was in a tomb, and I was basically trying to solve a puzzle, and the puzzle involved me rotating a block, and on that block was supposed to be graphics, and I was supposed to look at my journal, look at the graphics, and have certain graphics shown on these certain things I was rotating. When I had to rotate something, the textures didn't load, so it's just like a brown tube I was rotating it, and I had no idea what to do. And the only way I solved it, luckily the model had some bump mapping, and I could roughly work out the shape of the item I'm supposed to be rotating, and then look in a journal. But yeah, the graphics didn't load. I restarted the game, restarted the save, and the graphics did not load in that section. So yeah, that certainly made it tougher, but it was fun to do anyway.
Weird one. And you said last night that you're actually ready for Uncharted 4 now. You want to crack straight into it?
As frustrating as I was with 3, I'm super psyched to start 4. I'm not going to do it straight away. I think I'm going to give myself a couple of weeks off, because I feel like obviously Uncharted 4 is reviewed incredibly well, but I think even if I started it now, I might be a little bit numb to some of the stuff it does. So I'll leave it a couple of weeks and then go back to it. But yeah, I'm definitely excited to start. I think I'm excited just to do another stream again in all honesty. I mean, yeah, I think I'm going to miss doing it almost every night. It's been absolutely class. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who's watched. Left a comment. No, that's all I want to say, really.
He's doing his BAFTA speech again. You did this last night, Matt.
Yeah,
I showed Jo the ending of your stream because it was so funny, and she laughed, but then rolled her eyes when you started going, I'd like to thank everyone who's been watching.
It was BAFTA's night.
Go with yourself. Right, okay. You've also you finished Life is Strange episode 1.
I did, yeah. I bought the series because it was like £7.90 or something for all 5 or 6 episodes on PSN. So I bought that and finished episode 1. Obviously, that's the episode that typically everyone says is the worst of the series, but I thought it was quite good. I quite enjoyed it, so I'm definitely eager to crack on with the rest now that Uncharted's done.
I tell you what, cool. Sean, that is a good sign, isn't it? If he likes the first one,
yeah, man. Definitely.
He's in for a treat.
I was just going to say, I wouldn't mind if you stream the rest of that, because that would be hilarious.
That would be quite good to watch, actually.
I can't wait to discuss that. It's going to be brilliant. Cause...
as funny as it would be to see him stream it, I feel like being observed.
The emotion,
doing it,
the emotion.
Yeah, I feel like it would colour his reaction to it, and I want him to have an honest experience with it, and then talk about it later. If you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not really a streaming game, is it? Because a lot of it is dialogue, so it's kind of like it would just be you listening to dialogue, and that doesn't really work, does it? But you should update us with your choices.
I took a picture of my choices first time. Turns out I actually missed tons of the options.
Yes.
Unlike Walking Dead, where you hit every one. I went to the end of Life is Strange episode 1, and there's like 4 pages of choices, and most of them I hadn't hit, but I was also in the most popular category because maybe everyone else had missed the same options.
Yeah. I wouldn't worry about that. There's loads of shit in that game that you'll completely miss.
Yeah, but speaking about streaming and next game I was going to stream, I mean, I tweeted today asking people for their suggestions about what I could stream next in terms of another series of catching up. And we've got some suggestions. We've got Ankrika said the Hotline Miami series.
That's a good one.
I played a bit of number 1, but I mean that game looks like it needs a lot of skill, and again I'm not a great. That's
what would make it good. There's levels on that would drive you fucking insane.
Not as good as the last one that's suggested here. I really wanted to do the last one suggested.
So the next one is from Alabaster Mage, which says it says Metal Gear Solid, but I guess potentially the Metal Gear series. I mean, I'm not sure I could do it. It'll take forever.
Not really streamable, is it?
Yeah. Harmon every COD campaign.
Do you know what? Tempted. If you could get them all on like PS4 or whatever, it's something that I can easily stream from. I wouldn't mind doing like an hour a week of me just like, I know it would take years, but to get through them all.
It'd be interesting to see how they've shifted over the years.
Yeah, but
there you go, Dave. I want you to play every COD game before Infinite Warfare comes out.
No. See, that's what a normal person reacts, Matt. They go, no, I'm not doing that.
Well, that's a challenge. Jamatastic says Dark Souls or the Telltale Collection. I'm not going to do Dark Souls. I mean, let's just be honest.
Been done,
it would not be worth, Furry Fruit says Doom 2, Final Doom, and Doom 3. I mean, Andy's doing that for Midnight Resistance, and come on. Not going to happen. And the last one from James Swift Day is the Mario series. And this is the one I think I actually want to do the most. I mean, I'm sure we've mentioned on the podcast, which have actually been recorded and gone out to people, that I basically have a bit of a blind spot in my gaming history, and that is playing a lot of the Mario games, a lot of the 2D ones at least. I played Super Mario Land on the Game Boy and then didn't have a SNES and all that, and basically then picked up a Mario 64 and then played the 3D one since then. So I've got a massive blind spot in terms of Super Mario Bros. 2 or, the earlier games. So I'm tempted to do that.
I'd love to see you do that.
How hard do they get though? Am I going to die? Or...
Well, you see, I'd like to see you play the Japanese version of Super Mario Bros. 2.
You say that because that's the one everyone says is rock hard, and I can't do that.
It's
doable.
doable.
How hard are these games? Is it? I mean, are they crazy hard?
Not really. The first. Okay, Mario Bros. 1, 2. Okay, the general Western released ones are not that hard. You can do them each one. You could do 1 and 2. You could do in an evening, maybe not 2, but 1 you could definitely do in an evening.
Yeah, I always wanted to play. Even when I was younger and I was a Sega fanboy, I still sort of desired the Super Mario World sort of a SNES with a packing game. So I wouldn't mind playing that. But this is definitely something I'm looking into, and for the next series of catching up because it's a massive blind spot in my gaming history. So it'd be a perfect one to crack on with. But if anyone listening's got any suggestions, tweet us at Computer Game Pod. I want to hear whatever anyone else might want me to play. Someone else suggested the Mass Effect series, which I thought was quite a good one because I started the first Mass Effect game, thought it was terrible. I think I might have started the second one, but something else came out.
You didn't touch the second one. I know you didn't touch the second
one. Didn't I?
Oh, no, I think you did.
No, I think I did. I think Battlefield 3 came out, and I thought, sod this. And then, and obviously Andromeda's, I guess it's has it been announced officially, the next Mass Effect game?
Yeah.
I know you've seen stuff.
Yeah, it's been trailers and stuff. Only little teasers, but
Interesting one, but obviously those games are quite big. But yeah, anyone got any suggestions, tweet us at Computer Game Pod. I'd be interested to see what you want me to play for the next series.
Sorry, is it bit I've been away from Mike for a little bit because Harry just went utterly insane, and this is why I'm hushed now. But did someone say Final Fantasy? Because that every single Final Fantasy game.
Most of them are shit, though.
I know, Sean. I know. Right, tweets. What we got this week? We'll do a few because we're running over.
Hi.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, I can see if we're going to do a
Prepared.
few. I don't know. I know I've got them all here, but I'm just thinking which ones are good. If we're
He's having trouble. Take that.
Can't we just race through them? And if the answers are bad, we'll just delete it. Or does everyone need to nip off now?
I could do with getting off.
Okay,
but
that's a bit personal, Sean.
I could do with getting off as well. But anyway, okay. Andre Vox says, I just started a live chat on a shopping website. With which video game character would you start a chat, and about what?
Live chat on a...
Is this like when it comes up saying oh, do you need help? And you can just go yes, and then you get an absolutely useless customer service guy to talk to, which is unfair, obviously, because no one wants to work in customer service, but they are fucking crap.
How about that little punk at the start of Wind Waker that has a shop where the bombs are way too expensive? And his whole MO is, haha, these bombs are way too expensive for you. What kind of businessman's that? I'd like to just ask him, why have you done this?
What's the deal? Yeah.
What is the
deal? I would
deal
like to talk to Jason because we never quite heard about what that Jason character was about. In Heavy Rain.
He's about Heavy Rain.
Kid. He's not about anything.
Well, he might be. He might be the world's best character, but we never got to know. It's taken so
long.
All
I know is I beat the
please.
shit out of him with a sword.
Because
I didn't realise that the game was teaching me that I could fail on purpose. So I just beat the shit out of my own kid before he died.
Like fucking doing a chicken dance around his body.
Okay.
I'd rather speak to Ethan and just say, what did you do?
Well, we all know he was a graphic. Oh no, I was going to say he was an architect.
He did.
Well,
he was even.
I mean, I don't want to be that guy, but there's no way that elevation was fit for purpose. Right, okay.
Dave playing Heavy Rain. I'll never pass the regs.
I like the way that he drew a couple of lines on a ruler and then it panned out and there was a full elevation drawn. You were like, Cameron. What the fuck?
Dave, just because you wish you were that good, don't.
Yeah, I'm not quite. I've not quite.
It's not Ethan's fault.
I don't really know many people that use pen and paper either these days, but there you go. Next question.
See, the problem is most of these are about me not pressing record.
Just get them.
This is your penance.
Get there. Just get there.
Okay, Junker Denby says, does the World War I setting of the new Battlefield interest you, and why?
Definitely.
Sort of did this, didn't we?
I think we covered that. Absolutely, yeah.
Not keen about the fact that apparently you get to use mustard gas in it. That's a bit much.
That's a bit messed up, isn't it?
Unless they do a whole Spec Ops: The Line type deal with it.
They won't.
What's the difference between that and the white phosphorus that they used to have in Rainbow Six? That stuff was
Was that in Rainbow Six? No, because that's basically Have you played Spec Ops: The Line?
No.
Okay, that's basically that's the whole thing
game.
in that is that there are there's a couple of bits with white phosphorus.
That's such an underrated game.
That's bad, isn't it?
Mm.
That's what that game does. It just goes, that's bad, isn't it?
But you fucking enjoyed it.
Whereas,
you fucking like shooting your way through
it.
that bit with Mogwai playing in the
You
background.
Still did it.
Yeah.
Whereas Rainbow Six just had like comedy screams, like whenever you used it. It was like...
That beam of light shining down on those corpses, Sean, just highlighted my achievements. That game, that video game. I was like, yes, got 'em. Next question.
Okay, so Patrick F says, for someone who hasn't played the Uncharted series, does Matt recommend getting the collection before Uncharted 4?
That's a good question.
I mean, in terms of the continuing story, I haven't played 4 and I'm not sure how it links on, but I think absolutely. I mean, like I said, I don't think anything showed their age. The third one, was frustrating, but from the first one onwards, I think they're all still solid games, and I had a blast playing through them. So I think as games in their own right, absolutely. If you're desperate, to play them for the story, I'm not sure how much it links or how much you would actually need to know. But yeah, I'd definitely recommend it. Absolutely.
I liked what I liked about the Uncharted games is that they did reference things that had happened in previous games and stuff like that. There was that, through plot line with what's her face,
Elena, Sully, Chloe.
Elena. The fact that I remember playing Uncharted 2 and thinking, where's Elena and why is he with Chloe now? What is going on? And then they reference that later on, Elena turns up and she goes, "Oh, I'm last year's model."
Yeah,
and I was like, "Oh no, she didn't." And it was just such a nice little nod to the previous game that if Uncharted 4 has loads of that stuff, it would be a shame not to sort of be on board with those sort of moments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a lot of game to get through, though, isn't it? Really.
I think worth it.
Murray.
I don't know what. I mean, the first game took me about 7 hours. I'm not sure the others, but it's probably about 35 hours in total. But bang through that in 2 weeks, mate.
Next question.
Okay, Ms. Rangers 999. How difficult is it to press the red recall button from a scale of 1 to 10? It's not difficult because I did press the recall button.
Oh, that's funny. Because we didn't get any audio.
What did you record,
We
James?
did get audio. We got
everything you recorded was our disappointment. Next question.
At Dan Price, Farlong didn't press record. Have you ever made a tiny error before a game challenge that cost you the whole thing?
Tiny error, Dan Price. Tiny. Okay.
I can't think
game
of anything,
challenge.
But I'm sure there's been.
What sort of game challenge does he mean?
Well,
like on Games Master,
This is definitely in the old school type problem, wasn't it? The amount of games. I remember. Do you remember when games would?
Actually, I've got an answer for this. This is good.
Go on.
Well, I think I might mention this before, but when I was playing Mirror's Edge, and I started playing it, and then did the first level or two, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to go for that achievement where you don't shoot anyone. I played the rest of the game, without shooting. A couple of levels towards the end are mental if you're not shooting anyone. Turns out I had shot someone in level 1, which I forgot about. But I played through the rest of the game with not shooting, and it was tough. It was very tough.
That's the perfect answer.
Yeah. Next question. No,
I don't know if you remember. Did any of you guys ever play Brink?
No. God, no.
I remember seeing the queues at EGX
You're asking
one year.
the world.
The tiny error
Chris
I
O'Regan
made.
played it.
The tiny error I made was buying Brink.
Tiny.
Fucking.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. What I was going to say was that I think this is more of an old style problem, isn't it? Like, do you remember those games where you battle through a whole level, like back in the 90s, the early 90s? You get through a whole level, then get to a boss, and it would checkpoint at the boss. Every time you died, it checkpointed, but it saved how much health you had.
So you say that as if that's an old problem. That's in Hyperlight Drifter.
Jesus.
So there you go.
So there are literally bits where I just thought, I can't do this. I so clearly can't do this. Like, there's no possible way of me achieving a win here. I've got to play the whole thing again. Fucking ridiculous.
I did the same thing in the original Halo, I think, when I was playing it on Legendary. And it does like the checkpoint saves. And it saved just before I was right at the end of a level. And it was just a grenade was flying at me and it checkpointed. And then every time I loaded it, the grenade attached to me. But then it was like, I tried so many times to try and avoid it.
Brilliant.
It's impossible. Didn't work. Yeah.
Amazing.
I do talk of Halo 4, right? I spent that whole game hanging onto my wedding ring because it puts the wedding ring in your inventory, and I spent the whole game hanging onto it instead of selling it because I thought this is either going to be really important towards the end of the game, or it's going to have some sort of emotional, like, little thing that happens that's going to be really interesting during the game at some point. Nope. Carried that motherfucker around all over the wasteland for no fucking reason. Utterly pointless, stupid fucking game that was. Next question.
Okay, Adablack39. If the NX fails, do you think they'll get out of the console market for good?
No.
Nah, probably not.
No. We don't know where we are with consoles after this gen.
No. Plus, they
It's
might,
one,
even if the NX is shite, they might pull a handheld out of their arse that does alright again, so who knows?
Literally just do handhelds from then on. Unless the NX is a handheld, and then they are completely fucked. Would they pull out completely? I don't think so. What else have they got? This is their thing, isn't it?
I don't know.
No,
I mean,
like,
are you saying life wouldn't be easier if you could get Nintendo games on your PS4 or your
God.
Xbox?
Good God, you know it would, Sean. But
It would, but then I don't want that to happen because I just want it to annoy all those people that are like, oh, Nintendo should go third party. Like that. It's just, if you want to play Nintendo games, buy a Nintendo platform.
I do think Nintendo do their best work because they put so much work into the platform itself as well. But I don't know.
Nintendo also come across as a company where it's either they're doing their thing on their own console or they're not doing it at all.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I can't see them. I can see Nintendo going, okay, that's it, we're gone, bye. Rather than saying, okay, we're not bringing out consoles, but you can buy Mario for PlayStation now. I can't see them ever doing that. But then again, who'd have thought that you'd see a Sega logo pop up on a Nintendo console? Fucking no one. Trust me.
Still can't believe it.
Yeah, mental. Okay, one more question. We got the last one.
Okay, Rashers 10. Do you feel this generation has failed to excite the way previous generations have, or are we all getting older and less easily wowed?
No, I think it's been brilliant so far.
I disagree. I think we are always getting older.
But I don't like. Have you had anyone like I had? My wife's boss and her husband came over for dinner, and he used to play games. And he asked to see what was on the PS4 because he was interested. And after a bit, he was like, "What does it do that the last one didn't?" And I was like,
to counter that, Sean, how many consoles has the Xbox One and a PS4 sold together? I can almost guarantee it was more than the 360 and the PS3 at this time in their lives.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, on paper, streaming stuff.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, but there are. I mean, I can see what you're saying.
I'm not being like, oh no, they're fucking shit. They've got no new ideas. Obviously, games are brilliant, and that is fine. But in terms of when you consider that the Xbox 360 for most people is holy fuck, online games. That's the thing.
See, I totally agree with that. It doesn't feel this time as big of a deal as it did with 360 and PS3 as well to a degree, or Wii even. I mean, Wii, there was so much massive buzz out of that when it first came out. This generation so far feels more like it's gamers enjoying this, which is good. That's really good, but it feels
that's outrageous.
but you know what I mean. It's last generation there was that whole thing of let's get everyone involved. It doesn't feel so much like that this time round. It's
sure.
Okay.
Sorry, I've got VR
really
lads.
There is there.
800 quid. Let's get in.
All I'll say is that this generation has fucking banging games.
So
I'm still excited. I am still excited. Last year was insane. It's just ridiculous game after ridiculous game. It was so good. Stop moaning. Right.
I'm not moaning.
Fuck off, Sean. that was the end of the computer game show this week. Now Matt is going to say some stuff that you're probably going to use the skip 15 seconds forward button for.
Not if I last 30 seconds.
Well, they'll just press it twice. Matt.
Yeah, good point. Okay, this show is on iTunes. Please subscribe and leave a review. Just search for the Computer Game Show on iTunes. That'd be awesome. We're also on Overcast, Pocket Cast, TuneIn Radio, and Stitcher. Now, next thing I'm going to say, right? We've got an email address. No one emails the show. Be the one person next episode to email the show.
especially if you've got money or free games. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I don't mind. I'll read the question. But yeah, email thecomputergameshow@gmail.com. Be the one person that does that. Thank you. We're at Computer Game Pod on Twitter. We're facebook.com/computergameshow. And we're on YouTube. We're at youtube.com/computergameshow, which is where you'll find archives of the streams that we do and new episodes of the podcast, which go out every Wednesday. The last episode of Catching Up is episode 18. Track that down, have a watch. Why not? We're also on twitch.tv/The Computer Game Show, and we are individually on Twitter. Dave is at David Turners, Sean is at Captain Toss, James is at JSK Farley, and I'm at Matt Murray. There's also another podcast on Spawn called The Sausage Factory. It's an interview with developers asking about what inspires them to create games. Search for it on iTunes. It's called The Sausage Factory, and I am done.
There we go. Listen to the show, isn't it? Right. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for living it.
Thanks for living it. That's not going to work. No one heard the original.
I know, I can't do it. No one heard how it came about, so it just sounds weird now. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you next week, hopefully.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.